Have you ever wondered if your thoughts could do more than just, think? What if they could actually reach out and shape the world around you? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today with Dawson Church's book, Mind to Matter. It makes the incredible argument that our minds can have a direct, physical impact on reality. I know, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? But what if there's actual science behind this wild idea? That's the huge, provocative question at the very heart of this book. Thoughts become things. It's so simple, but this isn't just a feel-good quote you'd see on a motivational poster. The argument here is that this is a literal process. It's a real chain reaction that kicks off in our mind and actually ends in the physical world. Now, this isn't just philosophy or wishful thinking. The book builds its case on what it calls a chain of evidence, pulling together discoveries from neuroscience, epigenetics, which is the fascinating science of how our environment can actually switch our genes on and off, and even quantum physics. So let's follow that chain, link by link. Okay, so the very first link in this chain starts right inside our own heads. It's all about how our minds can physically, and I mean physically, change the actual structure of our brains. The book paints this picture of an old-school biology teacher, Mrs. Hughes, who represents this outdated way of thinking. For a long, long time, the scientific belief was that once you became an adult, your brain was pretty much set in stone. That's it, you're done. Well, that old view has been completely thrown out the window. What science shows us now is this incredible concept called neuroplasticity. Your brain isn't some fixed object. It's more like a living, breathing sculpture that you are constantly reshaping with every single thought you have. And this image just captures that new understanding perfectly. Every time you learn a new skill, focus your attention, or even just daydream, you are physically forging new pathways between your brain cells. Your mind is literally the architect of your brain, moment by moment. But okay, let's bring in a little critical thinking here. While neuroplasticity is incredibly powerful, critics argue it's not the whole story. If we only focus on our individual power, we might ignore other huge influences, like our genetics, our environment, and our economic situations. All of those things play a massive role in shaping our brains too. So let's move to the next link and see how this all connects. Once we accept that our thoughts shape our brain, the next step is to understand how that physical brain creates something non-physical, energy. That's right. All that buzzing electrical activity from your neurons doesn't just stay put inside your skull. It generates a very real, measurable electromagnetic field that extends out into the space around you. Think of it like this. Your thoughts and feelings are constantly broadcasting a signal out into the world. And what's really cool is we can actually measure this energy. A machine like an EEG shows us that our brainwaves change frequency depending on our mental state. Feeling stressed out and all over the place, that's your brain in high-frequency beta. Feeling relaxed, in the zone, you've shifted down into alpha. And those deep, creative, almost magical states, that's theta and delta. Every feeling you have has its own unique energy signature. So we've gone from mind to brain and from the brain to an energy field. This third step in the chain connects that personal energy field directly to the health of our own bodies. Now, take a look at this number, 810,000. It's a huge figure, and it's directly connected to what's happening inside your body right now. Get this, that's the number of new cells your body makes, every single second. Your body's basically in a constant state of demolition and reconstruction, rebuilding itself from the inside out all the time. So here's the argument. All of that cell regeneration is happening inside the energy field your brain is creating. If that field is calm and positive, you're giving your body an amazing environment to build healthy new cells. That's epigenetics again. Your emotions send signals that influence your genes. But if that field is chaotic and stressful, the quality of that cellular construction can suffer. The book points to case studies, like one about Glenda Payne, who used techniques like EFT tapping, that's emotional freedom techniques, to shift our energy and, as she claims, experienced amazing health recoveries. All right, we've journeyed from mind to brain to body. Now, this final step takes this whole idea to its most expansive and maybe its most controversial conclusion, connecting our personal energy field to the universe itself. I think we've all felt this before, right? You're thinking about an old friend you haven't talked to in years, and bam, your phone rings and it's them. The psychologist Carl Jung had a name for this, synchronicity. These are coincidences that are so meaningful, they just don't feel random.
A really great example from the book is when the author lost his keys while snorkeling in the ocean. I mean, the odds of finding them are basically zero. But by holding a clear, focused intention to find them, he eventually did. The book argues this isn't magic, but it's the inner mind influencing outer events through these energetic connections. The theory that ties this all together is the concept of a non-local mind. This is the idea that our individual consciousness isn't just an isolated island locked away in our head. Instead, it's part of a vast, interconnected field of consciousness that we all share. By aligning our personal energy with this universal field, the idea is that we can influence reality in some pretty profound ways. So, after this amazing journey from a single thought all the way out to the cosmos, let's bring it all back home and look at the complete picture. Here it is, that chain of evidence, all laid out. It starts with your mind directing your thoughts. Those thoughts then physically rewire your brain. That brain generates an energy field, which in turn influences how your body's cells rebuild. And finally, that personal consciousness can connect with a universal field, influencing the world around you. Mind to matter. This image really visualizes that final idea so beautifully. It's about shifting our perspective from feeling like a separate, isolated individual to realizing we're part of this larger, interconnected consciousness. The claim is that by aligning our personal minds, we can literally tap into this universal flow. And this entire chain of evidence leads us to one final, really powerful question. If our minds truly do shape our reality, then the power really does shift back to us. It stops being a question of what's possible, and it becomes a question of choice. So, what reality will you choose to create?